Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my girlfriend Carol. How are you doing on this day, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is September 14th, 1996.
Yes, it is.
And I've got some news today, I think.
You think? You're not sure?
Well, I don't know. It's all weird. So...
It's a weird newspaper you have in front of your face.
You think so?
I think so.
All right. Well, do you think that Conan O'Brien is weird?
Yeah.
Do you? 3 years now. Andy Richter, Conan O'Brien, and Max Weinberg. He was Max Weinberg. I think was in the E Street Band. I want to say. That's
idea.
Bruce Springsteen's band. Anyway, they're having a third anniversary special because it's 3 years. It's official. Conan is cool.
Ooh.
His goofy mug is on the cover of Rolling Stone. The critics are gushing. And his cutting-edge comedy showcase, The Late Night with Conan O'Brien, celebrates the lanky prankster's success with a very funny third anniversary special on NBC. What do you think? I like Conan O'Brien a lot, actually. I grew up, I always liked David Letterman more than I liked Conan O'Brien. More than I liked Jay Leno.
I remember watching that HBO movie about Jay Leno and who was the other one?
David Letterman. I just said his name.
Yeah, I know, but it went away. Things pop out of my head all day long.
Oh my gosh. I think you might have a brain disease.
I might. I don't know. It's kind of scary.
Maybe you've got a parasite.
I looked at the microwave the other day, and I thought I set the timer, but I didn't. And it changed the minute, and I thought it was counting down, guys. Something's wrong.
You need to have a brain scan.
Maybe.
A lobotomy.
Oh, God. Don't say that. That's scary.
Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No.
You know what else is scary?
Kevorkian.
Well, you can still read.
I can.
No disease found in 3 of Kevorkian's patients.
See, that's murder. That's murder. That's some frightening shit. I mean, I've been on his side, but not anymore.
Person was like, I think I've got a cold. I got my machine out there.
What the hell?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Let's see. One of the doctors recanted her diagnosis of MS. And yeah, there's just there's some interesting things here. Kevorkian's basically like, nah, they had diseases, and but apparently the medical reports say no.
He can't prove it.
No, that's
not good. You should definitely be able to prove that your terminally ill patients were terminally ill.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't think I think, if I remember correctly from some of the other trial stuff, I don't think that all of them were terminal either. Some of them had diseases, but they weren't terminal diseases. They were more like quality of life, like debilitating, but not terminal. So, yeah.
Not good.
Lots of controversy around there.
I'm sad. I'm saddened by this.
I understand that.
What?
That was the most stoic I've ever heard anybody say that. It was like a German father at a funeral or something like that. I am saddened. I am saddened by this.
Well, I really believed in what he was doing. Now I'm worried that he's just a psychopath.
Well, time will tell.
I guess.
Time will also tell whether or not this TV show that we watched will be a success.
It was pretty good. What did you think? We watched Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah. So first episode ever premiered yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I am familiar with Raymond Romano.
Mm-hmm. It's a comedian.
Yeah, because I like stand-up comedy. And I like him a lot. I like Doris Roberts, who plays his mom, and Peter Boyle, famous, maybe most famous as Frankenstein in the movie Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
But he's always been, which, obviously was a long time ago. Well, 20 years ago or something like that. But he's always been a comedic actor. Mm-hmm. And I've liked him a lot. He's been on a few different things that I've seen before, but...
What about the giant dude who plays his brother? Has he been in anything?
I think he's also... His name is Brad Garrett. He's also a stand-up comedian. I've seen his act once, I think, maybe. But he's not... He wasn't... So I assume they know each other from the stand-up touring.
Probably.
But I haven't seen him much. I don't know much about him. He seemed funny. Very stoic kind of humor.
He's just a giant person, though.
Yeah. He gets the titular line.
The what now?
The titular line. Everybody loves Raymond.
Right.
He says. But yeah, he says that. So they live across... Okay, so let me set this up for anyone that hasn't seen it. I guess Ray Romano is a sports writer. Maybe that's his dream job. I don't know. But he's a sports writer. His name's Ray. And he has a wife named Deborah. Not familiar with her, this actress. Can't remember her name.
She's cute. I hate her haircut, though.
Oh, yeah. Not good hair.
No. But, I mean, it's the typical I just had babies haircut.
Patricia Heaton. That's her name.
Okay.
But I'm not familiar with her.
Why do women cut all their hair off as soon as they have babies?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
It's maybe that's like a psychological thing. Like I'm no longer in the market to mate.
Interesting.
Like it's that's a signal to the other species, the males of the other species.
I thought maybe it was because babies will grab their hair.
Maybe, I don't know. The cats like to play with your hair. Are you going to cut it?
Yeah, I'm actually breaking out in hives as we speak because one of the cats was on my neck, in my ear, pawing at me. It was weird.
Well, don't scratch.
It just...
Anyway, so they're married. They have 3 children. This is all explained in the title sequence.
Right.
Where he's putting together some sort of place for his kids.
And he puts it together around himself because he's that kind of idiot.
Right.
He can't get out.
He has a 5-year-old daughter and 2 twin-year-old boys.
And they look like they're half black.
They do.
It's really weird.
They do.
You've got these 2 pasty pale white people who have these half black children.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Whatever. I guess they couldn't find any other twin babies.
Maybe. Not good enough actors anyway. Although one of them was freaking out.
I'd be freaking out if Peter Boyle, picked me up when I was sleeping.
Let me suck the youth out of your head. But they live across the street from their parents in Long Island. And it's the most stereotypical Long Island mom I've ever seen. At one point, he signed her up for the Fruit of the Month Club. And 12, over a dozen pears came or whatever. And she's talking about, what am I supposed to do with all these pears? And she says, I can't talk. There's too much fruit in the house.
It was hilarious. She's like, we have enough problems.
And then she's like, how long? She's like, it comes every month. And she's like, it's a group. Then she says to her husband, Raymond's put us in some sort of cult.
That is a lot of pairs, though. I get that. I get that. What do you do with 15 pairs or something? They said it was more than 12. So
yeah, I've never been part of the Fruit of the Month Club, so I don't know. That is a lot for over the course of a month. 15 is not a lot. That's one every other day. But are they going to last a whole month?
Yeah, okay, if you got all three of the people eating 3 pair, so you're going through 3 pairs every day, you could go through them in like 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But does everybody want to have a pair every day?
3 pairs every day? Oh.
One person, 1 pair.
It's like a psychological experiment. 1 person, 1 pair.
Well, no, but there's 3 adults in the house.
I get it.
3 pairs a day. 4 or 5 days. Less than a week, your pairs are gone. So what are you bitching about?
I don't know. But that is a pair every day.
I'd eat a pear every day.
Yeah.
If I had to. But yeah, it doesn't kind of make you eat them.
I'll eat a peach every day.
Oh, would you?
Anyway, so the show is essentially it's a very traditional family sitcom where the husband's an idiot who makes up lies in order to try to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
He's caught between his family and his wife.
And his family kind of sucks.
A little bit.
I mean, I totally see Deborah's point. Like, he's gone on road trips a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah.
He was gone for 4 days when this episode started.
Covering the Yankees.
Yeah, and his parents just come over to their house every single day. He's not there.
And they don't knock.
They don't knock. They don't call first. They just walk into the house. I would not be okay with that either. Who would?
The father, Peter Boyle, wakes up the kids.
Yeah.
I just want to see
what kind of asshole wakes up children when they're sleeping?
It is kind of sweet because he wants to see them so badly.
Because he wants to suck the youth out of their heads. That's some messed up shit. It's like in The Princess Bride.
He's only mostly dead. Wow. But I mean, for the most part, there's a couple moments in this episode, at least. I don't know if this is going to continue. This is sort of a staple of ever since Seinfeld became popular, there's been a rash of let's get a comedian a show.
Right.
And this is another one of those. Now, it looks like they've put a little more care into crafting an actual story and scenario and other characters. See, what works about Seinfeld's not a good actor at all. There's a couple times in a few different episodes of Seinfeld I've seen where he kind of cracks up in the middle of what they're saying, or he's got a smile on his face the whole time.
Right.
And that's the best take they got. So what works about that show, and Seinfeld is, it's funny in the show, but what works about the show is the characters around that they put around him.
Okay.
All the other actors are playing their characters very well, and they're well-written, funny characters. It looks like they've done that here, too. I mean, they took the time to get a Peter Boyle, who's an established comedic actor, who I think is very funny. They took time to get a Doris Roberts, who was she was a guest star actually one time on Saint Elsewhere.
Oh,
so
your favorite.
Everybody knows, but she's also a comedic actress known. Mm-hmm. So they took time to get those two for the parents, and those are tough roles,
right?
Those two. So I think they did really good. They got established, funny actors to play those roles. The wife seems good. She didn't have a ton to do this episode necessarily, but she seemed like she's a good actress.
Yeah. She
can hold her own with him, which is necessary because obviously she's got a lot of scenes with him.
Right.
And the brother seems fine. His friend comes over and was just whatever. I think that's another. I recognize him a little bit, but I don't know exactly who it is. I think it's just another one of his stand-up friends. I'm gonna guess we're gonna get a lot of cameos from stand-up friends.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But there's a couple times in this episode where it's just him doing stand-up, like at the end where he's talking about how they're twins, and if he's scared they might turn out ugly because if you have one person that's kind of ugly, people just sort of ignore it or whatever. But if you see it twice,
right,
that is a stand-up routine
for sure.
And there's another time when he does that was funny. The twin baby flies, which was funny, But that's kind of like a stand-up routine, too, because the camera's, like, locked on him. He's talking to someone off camera, so he's just delivering this thought to the camera. It's very stand-up-like. And a lot of these shows where it's get a comedian, a show, does that. It devolves into, let's have them do their stand-up because people like their stand-up. That's why we gave them the show. But that's not what you should do. You should say, oh, this person's funny. Let's create funny scenarios around them. And I think Seinfeld does that a little bit more. Obviously, they do the stand-up, but they frame it where it's stand-up at the beginning and stand-up at the end. Like an actual thing of him doing stand-up at the beginning and end. And then the show in the middle. And the show is the part that everyone cares about.
For sure. Although, I mean, he did make me laugh, so.
But yeah, and the thing is I as long as they don't make that too big of a part of the show, as long as they focus on the actual story between these characters of this family dynamic, then I think it can be good.
Well, we'll have to see how they proceed with it.
It was funny. It was well written. It was funny.
Yeah, I'm definitely in for more. So
I mean, even little stuff like when they can't. The mom comes over to help babysit the kids while Deborah is at the movies with her friend Linda, who had an interesting trip to the gyno.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Was it asexual in nature or something?
Is she pregnant?
I don't know. But anyway, so the mom comes over, she helps, and then while he's gone, the dad and the brother come over and they're like, "Where have you been?" Like kind of like, "We've been looking everywhere for you." And she's like, "Where'd you look?" And Brad Garrett, the brother, goes, "We figured we'd start here." And that like, it's a very almost like thrown away line, but that's funny. And the instinct to know where to put the little, those little kind of comments that'll hit. Sounds like the writer's room knows what they're doing. So I mean, I look forward to watching more episodes of it.
And then we watched a movie.
We did. We watched a touching romantic comedy.
Or you would be led to believe based on the trailer. Yeah,
we saw the previews in a couple. Can't remember what movies we were watching, but a couple of the movies that we've watched recently, we saw. They played the trailer for this movie before the other movie. We saw Feeling Minnesota. What does that mean, by the way? They never explain anything about that. Like feeling, like
no,
you're
never.
feeling Minnesota, as in like I feel like this is Minnesota, or. Is feeling Minnesota like a state of being?
Well, I mean, it takes place in Minnesota.
Most of it, yep.
Most of it.
The end doesn't.
I'm trying to remember.
The end takes place in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
To spoil it for everybody.
And the brother came into town from somewhere else.
Yeah, now he's feeling Minnesota.
Maybe.
The brother being Jack, which apparently is...
No, Jax.
Jax. It was supposed to be Jack.
But they had a typo on his birth certificate.
So now it's Jax.
With 2 J's.
Yeah, it's very subtle when they say that, but we did catch that.
Jax.
So it's Jax. Yeah, Tuesday Weld couldn't spell for shit, apparently.
So weird. That's how I ended up with my middle name being spelled after Lucretia Borgia. Actually, not spelled after Lucretia Borgia. It's spelled wrong. My dad wanted it spelled with a Z, and instead it's spelled with a C. Because
is that how Lucretia Borgia spelled her name with a
Z?
With a Z?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And my mom's college roommate's name was Lucretia, so she spelled it the way she spelled it.
Oh, weird. That's weird.
And then my dad was kind of mad.
What a weird name.
He wasn't there.
So. Oh, wow. Where was he?
That was her defense. I don't know. Working, probably. He worked like 3 jobs.
I guess that was the time period, huh? When dads just like smoked a cigar and were like, meh, meh.
I guess.
I run a big city newspaper. I got a child now. Or I'm going to terrorize Gotham City. Penguin.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so Tuesday Weld. Okay, so I want to talk about Tuesday Weld, but the mom. But Keanu Reeves stars as Jax.
Yeah.
And Vincent D'Onofrio, who you probably most famously remember as Private Pyle from Full Metal Jacket.
Okay.
The guy that went insane and then killed the Arlie Army and then killed himself.
I never saw the movie, so thanks for the spoilers.
You're welcome. and then Cameron Diaz,
who we just saw recently in another
Mask,
movie,
isn't it? And she was also in She's the One,
which is another weird movie with brothers.
Maybe she's going to get typecast as someone who breaks brothers apart.
Right. But,
and then Tuesday Weld plays the mom.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk about. This entire show is going to be about me talking about Tuesday Weld.
It is not.
She's the mom, and you may remember her as Thalia Menninger from The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis.
Nope. Nobody does. Nobody even remembers that show existed.
I told you about it before. Dobie.
I know.
Do.
I know it exists because you told me.
Maynard G. Krebs.
Cool. But sounds like crab.
He was a beatnik.
The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis.
That was the show. Oh my god. But she played Thalia Menninger.
Okay.
Anyway, she was an actress.
She's very pretty for an old lady.
Yeah, she was gorgeous when she was young.
Yeah, they actually show a picture of what she looked like when she was younger in this movie. So
yeah, and she was in 1960. She was in a movie called Sex Kittens Go to College.
You want to see it, don't you?
I kind of do.
I had a feeling.
Don't you?
No.
Really? Mamie Van Doren's in it.
I don't know who that is either.
She was another like Marilyn Monroe knockoff in the 50s.
Okay.
It's Mamie Van Doren and the other one. Okay, whatever.
I'm sorry. I'm not up on my old people stars. I'm only up on the new people stars.
Anyway. She the plot of the movie, from what I'm gathering, is
they take their sweet time to explain it for sure.
No, I'm talking about Sex Kittens Go to College.
Oh, Jesus.
It's I don't know exactly what happens in the movie, but apparently there is an adult version cut of it.
I imagine.
Where I don't think they get naked though, any of them, because they were like big stars, so I don't think they get naked. But apparently there's an adult version where the robot, Mr. Think So or something like that, has a dream sequence with strip dancers.
Okay.
So it's a movie in which they have an extended adult version where a robot daydreams about being with strippers.
It sounds like something to watch while on shrooms.
Oh my god. Well, it was 1960, so I mean it was a little early for that, but
I don't know.
it was far out and happening, man. Can you imagine 1960? They were like, yeah, that's cool.
A Brave New World came out in what, 1963?
The book?
1953?
The book?
Yeah.
I don't know. I love how you just expect me to know the publishing date.
I expect you to know everything. Get on it.
I think it came out in the 50s, but I'm not sure.
And that whole book is just like, do acid. So,
Soma, yeah.
You know, whatever.
Soma is what they call it in the book. But yeah, essentially it is acid. That is correct.
So it's not too early for psychedelics. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I think it was not in popular culture at the time.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about this movie.
I'd love to. Thanks.
All right. So Tuesday Weld, the Elliot manager.
She is a terrible mother.
She is.
And that's kind of like what causes this movie to come to be, because she somehow manages to raise two terrible people.
Well, she didn't, though, because she sent one of them to live with the dad. We never see the dad, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just, like, there's a lot about this doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, like, why did she have to send one away? That doesn't make sense to begin with. If you're, like, giving up your kids, you give up your kids. You don't give up one.
Apparently, it's some kind of agreement they came to. They got divorced, and they were like, well, we'll each take one.
Oh,
and
like the Parent Trap.
He says... He says the little 8-year-old boy's like, how come I have to go live with Dad? And she goes, well, your brother was born first and you were born second, so might as well keep the first one.
Yeah.
It's like, what does that mean?
But I don't want to go live with my dad. Oh, well, get out of here. And then his big brother's a jerk and, was beating him up all the time. Mm-hmm. The whole thing was very upsetting.
Yeah. Vincent D'Onofrio is the big brother and Keanu Reeves is the little brother.
But initially, when they're little boys, the big brother is played by Jim Carrey, which is weird.
That was Jim Carrey?
Yeah, you didn't realize that?
That was not.
That was Jim Carrey.
There's no way that was Jim
100%.
Carrey. Oh, I will bet you so much money that was not Jim Carrey.
I will bet you our standard bet that it was Jim Carrey.
God, I didn't pay enough attention.
Do you accept?
Did you see his name in the credits?
No.
You swear you didn't see his name in the credits?
I swear. I wouldn't lie to you.
All right, I will take the standard bet.
All right. Well, then we will see.
Yep. We'll have to go to the movie theater. You know how in the movie theater they have those foldouts with the this is what's coming up and all that stuff, and they usually have the cast list on there. So we'll check that out.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll let you all know next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coming soon or whatever it's called. I don't know. They're little pamphlets with the movies and what's coming out and everything.
But they have this thing where they play rock, paper, scissors, and the loser has to put his hand out and get it smashed by the other one.
Yeah, it's weird.
Do brothers just do this shit?
Yeah, kind of.
They throw rocks at each other?
I think it's exaggerated, but yes, I think that some brothers have this kind of relationship. Although I don't know how they stayed such bitter rivals when they basically grew up away from each other.
Well, no, I mean the older one looked like he was probably 15.
Well, if he was played by Jim Carrey, then he would have been in his 20s, his late 20s.
He looked like he was about 15, 16, or supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And then the younger one was 8. So I mean, that's not. I wouldn't say it's growing up away from each other. I mean, they spent some time together.
They spent some time together,
but the oldest brother is getting married.
Well, he's getting forcibly married. He wants the marriage, but the bride, Cameron Diaz, is being forced to marry him because he works for some kind of drug dealer,
mafia,
pornographer.
Don't really know.
He's cornered Minnesota's seedy underbelly, I guess.
There is one.
And he has Dan Aykroyd, who's in this movie for some reason.
And he does a terrible job.
Dan Aykroyd, he isn't even phoning it in. He's he's telegraphing it in.
It's I've seen you be good. What is it? Did they get you stoned? Why are you like this, Dan Aykroyd?
I don't understand. Yeah. This is the most I don't give a shit performance I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really bad. I mean, Keanu Reeves, God love him.
Oh,
he's kind of flat all the time anyway.
Anytime I have a love-hate relationship with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Because he's a charismatic person.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I watch a movie with him in it, I think to myself, there a scene's happening. He has a dramatic scene with Cameron Diaz, right? And every time, so she cheats on her husband with the brother, with Keanu Reeves. Immediately. Mm-hmm.
At the wedding reception,
yeah,
she has sex with his brother. I have things to say about that, but finish your point.
And then later they have sex in the front seat of a car for some reason.
Yep.
But they have a thing where she's like, why don't we just go why don't we just go to Vegas? Why don't we just leave? And he's like, no, because it feels too good, and that means it'll turn to shit.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's delivering this, he's delivering it no, don't you see that it feels too good? That means eventually it's going to turn to shit. And I see scenes like that, and I think to myself, wow, with a different actor, this could be a really good scene. I think to myself, this could be really powerful and good if someone actually performed it correctly.
Right.
With the right, activation of their emotions. But I still kind of like him in movies, so it's difficult. I don't want people to stop casting him necessarily, but every time I see him in a scene, I'm like, It'd be so much better if a good actor was in this.
Well, I mean, he reminded me very much of A Walk in the Clouds. You know, like the way that he delivered the dramatic lines in that movie.
Oh yeah, the one with the winery.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, he gave more in that movie than he did in this one. I think still
a little.
I mean, it was.
He's just not a very good actor.
Nobody did great.
He should play a robot.
Cameron Diaz did okay. She did okay.
Cameron Diaz is a good actress. Cameron Diaz did okay. Vincent D'Onofrio's pretty good in his scenes.
Yeah. I mean, I just hate his character, but yeah, he was a good actor.
Dan Aykroyd is terrible. Everyone else is pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie it never feels real.
They wrote slut on her arm in Sharpie, and somehow that's the greatest insult that's ever existed.
I thought that was a tattoo.
Well, he said you let them write that on her arm. Well, I mean, I guess maybe tattoo. It could be a tattoo. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, and these are prison people, so tattooing involves writing, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But what did you think of the movie overall?
First. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no. Go ahead.
I need to talk about the sex.
Please.
Okay? The sex scenes were really fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're kind of flirting, and she's like, I have to go pee. She's in her wedding dress, her dirty wedding dress, because she ran and was drugged to this wedding, kicking and screaming, basically. So she walks off in her wedding dress, and Keanu Reeves' character knows to follow her and fuck her. Somehow. I don't understand how that was communicated in I have to pee.
In a dirty bathroom.
Ugh. And, like, everything about it was just wrong. It was just gross. And, like, she was so, like, aggressive. Mm-hmm.
She started biting his finger to the point where it really hurt him.
Yeah.
And then she's like, did you come for me? And he goes, no, I came for my brother for the wedding. And she's like, no, did you come for... And he's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was so weird. So weird.
And when they're having sex in the front seat of the car, I couldn't tell exactly what angle they were at. It was filmed so weird.
And who chooses the front seat? Like, I understand if it happens, like, randomly, but they went to the car to have sex. Mm-hmm. So go in the back seat, you stupid people.
Yeah. It's... The whole thing... The whole movie was weird.
There was chemistry, but the sex scenes didn't show it.
No.
Like, it didn't make sense for them to even be together.
A lot of this movie was very poorly written and poorly performed, and with some weird editing choices too. At one point, there's like a fade editing, and I don't know exactly what that's supposed to be conveying. But yeah, some really weird editing choices in this. At one point, we think she gets killed.
Yeah,
which was sort of interesting. I was like, oh wow, is her character going to be gone? But they go back. They go back on it. She lives.
Yeah, that was annoying
because they're in a car together, and he shoots her in the stomach. It would have been better if she had just been dead, to be honest. But. Because it would have carried more emotional weight.
It would have felt more like Fargo. This movie reminded me of Fargo every once in a while.
A little bit, yes,
because the idiocy.
But not without the teeth.
Yeah,
it feels like Fargo without the teeth, basically. But so she gets shot, and he finds her in the bathtub, thinks she's dead, carries her out, buries her. She's not dead. She comes back alive. She gets back, alive.
Oh, real quick, I don't think you specified. Vincent D'Onofrio shoots her in the stomach in the car. Yes. And Keanu Reeves thinks that he killed her when he wakes up.
And that's one thing, that's the point I'm getting to. They don't establish that.
No.
It didn't make any sense. At one point, finally, when they see each other again, when she's alive, he's like, oh, I blacked out. And I didn't know, or I thought maybe I'd killed you. And she's like, why would you want to kill me? He's like, I wouldn't. And then they fight. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we were supposed to know that? When he woke up, we were supposed to know that he thought maybe he did it?
There were a lot of things in this movie that should have been conveyed earlier than they were.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You spend a lot of the movie guessing and trying to figure shit out that just gets explained.
And yeah, not in a satisfying way. Not like where they leave clues or anything.
No. Just in a like, oh, this is like, what it is.
Oh, that it makes sense now because you thought maybe you killed her. I didn't get that before. So all your actions seem dumb and nonsensical. Now I guess they make sense, but I don't care anymore.
Right.
And she comes up with a plan to try to get money from Vincent D'Onofrio by contacting the hotel people and like
it was one of those double crosser.
Exactly, and that's another way that it reminds me of Fargo, but it's like it doesn't make sense. And then they want to have their cake and eat it too. They try like they go halfway down the path of Cameron Diaz basically just being a user that just wants to get her dream and doesn't care about either of them, to, oh, she really likes Keanu Reeves, though, even though she's mad at him, and they'll end up together, and everything's happy. And it's like, what? But no. Vincent D'Onofrio, like, the whole thing.
It shouldn't have been.
And Vincent D'Onofrio, or Dan Aykroyd kills Vincent D'Onofrio's character in the stupidest way possible, where he just, like, holds his, like, suffocates him. When he's already been shot, just shoot him again. And then he says, you know what doesn't make any sense about that either? Is he does all this, takes the money, and fucks Cameron Diaz, presumably.
Yeah.
She escapes.
She's a slut.
She escapes with, tattoo. She escapes with the money. And then she calls up the guy's partner, who's barely established in the movie, and says, oh, yeah, he didn't do it. Dan Aykroyd did it. Keanu Reeves didn't do it. He's being framed for this murder. He'll be fine, though, right? And I'm thinking, like, no. If you're not going to stay and testify, why would he be?
Right.
Just your words enough? But apparently it is, because Dan Aykroyd gets arrested. But the thing that doesn't make any sense about that is the hotel owner and his wife are there. And Dan Aykroyd's like, oh, you guys go. This is a crime scene now. And then he kills Vincent D'Onofrio. But Vincent D'Onofrio was alive when they left. Why couldn't they testify? Oh, he came in with a gun. Keanu Reeves was defending himself. Dan Aykroyd comes in, tells us to go, and then all of a sudden Vincent D'Onofrio's dead. Where were they? Did they get killed? Did they get killed off screen? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of just... It felt like there were chunks of this movie that are missing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying with the weird editing choices.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of this was left on the cutting room floor.
Yes.
And I don't understand why, because it's only like an hour and a half long movie. They could have made it a 2 hour long movie.
Yeah, and would have been better.
But it seemed like you said, I think Fargo's a really good... I think that's a really good...
comparison?
Yeah, comparison to this. Thank you. To this movie, where that's what they were going for, but they didn't have the guts to go through with it.
Yeah.
Overall, don't see it. That's my recommendation. I didn't like it.
I didn't. Like, I didn't like it, and there's nothing great about it, but it was still kind of fun to watch it.
You could rent it, though.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Rent it.
Wait for it to come out to Blockbuster. You don't see Cameron Diaz naked, so...
No. You do see boobs at the end of the movie, but not Cameron Diaz's.
No, she's in a burlesque show, but she's the only one that's fully covered.
It's so funny.
But, yeah, I mean, I guess... I don't think you need to see it. I honestly don't think you need to see it. I didn't hate it, but it left me very unsatisfied because it like started to build up to things and then the logic and everything just crumbled around it. So
yeah, I mean, like, I agree with you on paper. I'm just telling you I enjoyed watching it anyway. There's a million things wrong with it, but I liked watching it.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with the movie. And the tonally it was a little weird too, don't you think? Like,
yes,
there were times where it was supposed to be funny, I think, but it was not. And I think it's like funny in the way that Fargo could be funny sometimes too, but it's not like the Coen brothers knew how to handle that kind of comedy, dark comedy, or like how it should be delivered, how the lines should be written, and this writer and director did not.
No. So,
yeah, I think that's what they were going for, and I think they just didn't do it well.
Yeah, so, don't waste your time, but if you're real bored, you could rent it someday.
I mean, yeah, when it comes out in a year or whatever to Blockbuster. But that is the episode for the week, Carol. Do your thing.
All right, so go ahead and write us at latefee1994@AOL.com. Check out our website at retrolatefee.com and tell your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.